with me here from Roskill in the studio this morning, I'm joined once again by Jack Better. Jack, good morning.
Good morning.
Cobalt, give us a reminder what it's used in, where it comes from, Jack.
Absolutely. Cobalt is a metal used mainly today in lithium-ion batteries. About 60% of demand last year was from battery applications, and they're used mostly in portable electronics and electric vehicles today. But cobalt's also used in a variety of other applications, notably nickel-based alloys, used in aerospace and tool materials. In terms of supply, most mine supply is from the Central African region, the Democratic Republic of the Congo specifically. That accounts for about 70% of cobalt mine supply today. Right. And most refining takes place in China. Again, just under 70% of refined supply is in China.
How important is the role of artisanal mining when it comes to cobalt supply?
It's absolutely fundamental to the market, really. It depends on a variety of factors, demand for cobalt, the cobalt price, and the payables that miners are receiving. And depending on those factors, artisanal supply from the Congo can range from 5,000 tons in a weak market up to about 20,000 tons, and that's what we saw last year. Artisanal supply is also, of course, very important to local communities in the south of the Congo, in the copper and cobalt belt. Anywhere upwards of 200,000-300,000 families are dependent on artisanal cobalt mining at any one time.
On the pricing side of things, we've seen some weakness. What's driven that?
It's a combination of factors, really. On the supply side, we've seen oversupply in most of the forms of cobalt. Because of the high prices last year, there was a huge supply reaction with regard to mining and artisanal supply, so there's now an oversupply of hydroxide. The metal market is also comfortably supplied. There's been lower demand and more production than was expected, and there's enough cobalt sulfate and tetroxide to fuel the battery market. On the demand side, demand has been more sluggish from the battery sector, more sluggish than expected, and market is also saying that recent NEV subsidies in China have played their part in lowering cobalt demand for 2019. Right. And all of that has softened the price.
So what does all this mean then as far as the future? What's the outlook?
Well, the outlook for demand long term is still very positive. Roskill expects the market for cobalt to roughly double in size in a decade, but there's going to be a lot of volatility between then and now.
Are we seeing some interesting new projects come online?
We will do over the course of the 2020s. As I said, the market is currently oversupplied and it's going to take a while to work through that. Existing producers will supply the market with what is required for the next few years. But after that, we will need to see some new projects. Particularly projects outside China will be of interest to investors and consumers of cobalt.
Any particular projects that have caught your eye?
Given the high concentration of production in the DRC, on the mine supply, and in China with refined supply, I think the projects outside of those two jurisdictions will be particularly interesting.
Jack, good to get your thoughts. Thanks very much.
Thanks for having me.